Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm, by definition, a rattlesnake.
I gotta be Shane! I gotta be Shane!
Jesus.
Welcome to episode 275, Bad Blood in Your House.
In your house.
Bad with two D's. I don't know why. Bad blood.
In memory of Johnny. Because Mark Merrill's not here, so we're going to give him a shout out.
Yeah, they're going to have the devil. The show opens with the Delaware Destroyers. Yeah, the poster for this show. Sometimes, if I can't find a tagline, there might be one on the poster. No tagline, but the poster is pretty bizarre. It is the Undertaker
holding his own head.
Holding his own head, like he has a head, and then he's holding a head, and the head he's holding is his own.
Yeah, it's creepy.
But it's not Taker versus Taker. Like it was, a few years ago when they didn't have a show or a poster like that. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the inspiration was for that, but
this is the 18th In Your House, produced by the World Wrestling Federation. It would take place on October 5th, 1997, from the Kiel Center in St. Louis, Missouri, with an attendance of 21,151 people.
Can I get a goddamn?
goddamn.
It's a good number.
It is a very good number.
Yeah, I know. When I was like, whoa. We'll be talking about it, but St. Louis was a wrestling town.
It was a wrestling town at one point.
Yep, and we find out
all about it.
All about it.
But we are in St. Louis.
Yeah, we are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
Yep, I totally did. Yes, we are in St. Louis. Have we been here before? I'm trying to remember.
We'd have to have been.
I'm not positive.
Okay, I just figured I'd ask if it was on top of somebody's brain.
I know we have, because I think I've brought up the food item that I talked to you about off mic at one point. I'm pretty sure.
What was that? Just as a reminder for myself.
Oh, it was the St. Louis has a famous pizza place that you can purchase.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about the emos.
Mm-hmm.
No, because when I was looking it up, doing what I do, got on the old Google machine and said, what the fuck do people in St. Louis eat, drink, do for fun? What do they like to have for desserts? The drink that showed up was margaritas, and I know I didn't make margarita.
That doesn't
That's
seem
definitely
like
wasn't a margarita.
That doesn't sound like a St. Louis thing.
The sandwich for Missouri was a hot salami sandwich, and I've never brought a hot salami sandwich. So it just makes me wonder if this might be our first time in Missouri. I don't know.
Hot salami sandwich does not sound great.
But yes, we're in St. Louis possibly for the first time. It's possibly for the first time in Missouri altogether. I don't know. But I did what I do and looked it up, and obviously I've just named off the things that I found as far as official cocktails and sandwiches. Then I looked up their desserts, and their state dessert sounded a little... I don't mean to offend any people in Missouri that are listening right now, but it sounded a little boring because your state dessert is an ice cream cone. But then I thought, I can't just bring a plain old ice cream cone. I got to shane it up a little bit.
Then we had one, and we were like, wow.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with plain old ice cream.
Nothing wrong with it.
Well, it's because I did what I do, and I made it more than just what it is. I looked up popular desserts in Missouri, and the first thing at the top of the list was this gooey butter cake. And then it popped in my head that, you know what, I've seen ice cream that is gooey butter cake that is from an Oklahoma staple or a Texas staple or just a southern staple, I guess you could call it. Yeah. They have a St. Louis flavor up there. I think this might be inspired by St. Louis because one flavor that we've got at our restaurant previously was brought from the St. Louis market. So what we have is Bluebell's gooey butter cake ice cream. And I turned it into an ice cream cone. so that we could have, a multi-representation of Missouri. The gooey butter cake ice cream, it's flavorful cake batter ice cream combined with a luscious cream cheese swirl and rich gooey butter cake pieces. As delicious as the gooey butter cake made famous in St. Louis. So yeah, I just bought the Our Family or Great Value or whatever the hell it was brand plain ice cream cones. I should have got the waffle cones because as I was doing my little deeper dive here, as I was sitting here eating my ice cream cone, I discovered that like the waffle cone kind of got its start in the St. Louis World Fair way back in the day, where vendors were folding waffles into cones and filling them with ice cream. So I missed out on that little connection there. But
sometimes I like a styrofoam cone. That's what I always call these. Like, they're not styrofoam, but they have that crunch. Like weird,
It's like it's
our second time to St. Louis.
Is it? When was the first time?
Starrcade 1990.
Okay, I wasn't here for that, so that's why. Woo! Oh, wait, was I?
I think you were.
No, because I came on for...
It was episode 51, so you weren't here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I came on for Survivor Series 91.
That's right.
And then...
So see, it is the first time we've been there.
Yes, the first time the food culinary adventure, whatever thingy, has taken us there.
Was that the Starrcade that's in multiple states?
No.
Okay.
That's Great American Bash.
I
think.
Correct.
But yes, we got the basic, as Michael called it, styrofoam. It's like a fortune cookie that's been aired up a little bit and had some of the sweetness or orange flavor taken out of it, and yeah, you just left with crunch. I bribed a dog with one a little while ago.
It's the Black Scorpion Starrcade.
Oh. Gross. So I'm going to do what I do. Because I've already eaten the top of my ice cream, I'm going to at least bite into the cone because that'll make noise. So here we go. Ooey gooey butter cake ice cream. 1, 2, 3.
The ice cream is great, but my God, is it sweet.
Yes.
Even, and that seems like a crazy thing to say about ice cream, because ice cream is sweet by nature, but this one is packing a punch. In a very good way, but...
Agreed.
It would be hard to eat another ice cream cone of this one.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as Bad Blood, the movie Kiss the Girls would come out the same weekend.
Starring Morgan Freeman.
Ashley Judd.
That's right.
Never saw it, but this was Morgan Freeman's bread and butter.
This was like
It was this kind of movie.
Movies that came out.
Seven, this.
Well, no, it was like him and Ashley Judd.
Oh,
basically
really?
Had this. I want to say it was the two of them. Maybe it may have just been her.
But yeah, like the spooky crime drama mystery, right?
Yes.
Did the two of them do more than one movie together?
Like I said, I could be wrong. I know.
I mean,
Ashley
Morgan
Judd
Freeman
was
did
in
a lot of
this
these, and Ashley Judd
suspense
probably
things
did
for
too.
a while. Hang on.
And this was probably one of the more well
I
received.
guess she was in Double Jeopardy a few years later. And
Yeah.
Kiss the Girls.
The
I guess she did a
adult crime
Time to Kill before that.
Maybe it was him. That was
She's the wife in Heat.
Yeah.
Ashley Judd. I totally forgot about that, but I watched Heat recently. Again.
The old in the bud.
Not a difficult rewatch.
No. Other than it being
Long. Yeah,
so
time consuming.
time consuming, but
Yeah.
not bad by any means.
No.
All right, let's go to the 90s. Oops, I went too far, and we're back in the 80s already.
But yes, Kiss the Girls, basically based on a James Patterson novel. So, he always writes these, like...
Along Came a Spider. That was the other one that I was thinking of.
Was that Morgan Freeman too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, these are kind of those like movies that
serial killer, serial kidnapper type movies.
They were hot for a while. Basically, Seven and like kind of
extended CSI.
Yeah.
Movies.
And like typically, none of them are bad. They're just kind of good cable watchers. Like when they make it to cable, it's like when you did.
That's Monica Potter in Along Came a Spider. That's Monica Potter.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
He did a couple movies like that, and Ashley Judd did a couple movies like that.
They crossed over here.
Yeah.
They did do the movie High Crimes together.
I love doing crimes when I'm high.
2002, which I've never actually heard of.
Me neither.
I have not either.
Said I've heard of this one. You guys saw it?
Most
It
likely
was
high
fine.
at the time. I just didn't notice.
Yeah. It seems like a March programmer. From
I mean, it's a good cable watch.
Yeah.
Like,
it was definitely one of those that I think played often on TNT or TBS or something like that.
Like when the bad guy, I'm not gonna say who it is, but the guy who plays the bad guy is very good as a bad guy every time he plays a bad guy.
Eric Roberts?
Close.
I was just guessing, but yeah. That's funny.
I gotta look because I don't remember who it is.
I can just say it.
You can. I mean, it's a spoiler for
Don't give away
a
the
movie.
spoilers.
It's not, yeah.
I mean, spoiler for a movie 27 years old.
Yeah, it's not like one that anybody even ever brings up.
Let's see, who do we got? Okay, yeah, him. I forgot about him.
Like, he always plays a good bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see who it is? Have you figured it out, Michael?
Oh, well, what, is it 3 or 4 on Google? Okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were talking about.
No, it's not Carrie Elways.
Okay.
He plays the other detective. But yeah. Very, like I said, it's a good
totally
watch.
Acceptable movie.
If you like Morgan Freeman, you like Ashley Judd.
Is this like a straight down the middle, like 3-star?
Yeah, it's a gentleman's 3.
Yeah.
It's got Ashley Banks from Fresh Prince on here.
Also
Tatiana Ali.
Also has Mina Savari. It might be Mina Savari's first role.
I mean, yeah, a couple years later, she's got American Beauty and American Pie. And then her career disappears.
Let's see here. Is it her first movie? And the answer is... technically, I guess she was...
Probably a child actor.
She was in
I guess she...
some TV shows first. But it's her first major movie.
There you go. Totally counts.
I don't know this Nowhere movie.
Put it on the board.
Nowhere movie.
The N or a K? Are they getting fancy?
No, it's... And, I mean, Christina Applegate was in it. And Debbie Mazar and Kathleen Robertson. So, I mean, Jeremy Jordan. So there's Ryan Felipe, Heather Graham, Scott Conn.
Damn. What year is this
Beverly
movie?
D'Angelo, Denise Richards.
What year is this
Tracy
movie
Lord,
called?
Shannon Doherty, Rose McGowan.
Wait, wait a second. What is this movie?
What is this movie?
What year is it?
1997,
'cause I
called
can't-
Nowhere. Follows the day in the lives of a group of Los Angeles high school students and the strange lives they lead.
I mean, I wonder if it's good. That's a
I
wild
mean,
cast.
it's a 44 Metascore. 6.5 on
Well,
IMDb.
look at this. It says C also
I
on
feel
Google.
like I've seen this before when I was at Blockbuster.
The C also on here says The Doom Generation, Gummo, one of my favorite fucked up movies.
It's a Greg Araki movie. Yep. I remember now. Because he made a lot of gay-themed movies back in the day, and that's when I was like, let me watch this one just to see. I need to know for sure. Am I? Yep.
Yeah, okay, he was the same guy that made the...
Cover box
Doom
says, sexy, psychedelic, dementedly funny with a sensational soundtrack.
It's the
It's
third...
like Clueless with nipple rings.
Hell yeah, that's so 97. It's the third of his teen apocalypse trilogy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally fucked up, The Doom Generation, and Nowhere.
And then he had a TV show a couple years ago. It was all kinds of weird shit.
Huh.
Aliens coming to Earth and raping people.
And that's why we do this segment.
Yeah.
Yep, because we learn things.
We learn things while we're talking through our feelings.
Kiss the Girls got us there.
Yeah. Probably the most interesting thing about the movie Kiss the Girls is that we got there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, if you like Morgan Freeman, check it out. If you like Ashley Judd, check it out. If you like good suspenseful movies, check it.
If you want some weird shit that we found down the rabbit hole,
Check out Nowhere.
check out Nowhere.
Or just hit us up on Twitter and we'll tell you more stuff.
If we get tired of wrestling, maybe we'll start our movie podcast with the Teenage Apocalypse trilogy. 3 movies none of us have seen.
That's true. Well, let's talk some bad blood. In over 100 countries and 7 different languages. Before a black and white package with narration comes on. Pride, confidence, talent, arrogance, conceit, and self-adulation are the essence of Shawn Michaels. This master antagonist unleashed a war of destruction on the phenom of the WWF, making him taste his blood once and will do it again.
Is that a promise?
The Heartbreak Kid's pack of allies came, saw, and kicked the dead man's ass.
Curse.
But now the cocksure tormentor becomes the tormented in a specially made cell, as there will be no Triple H, China, or insurance policy to save his soul. Sean has no way out, and no one to stop the carnage.
PlayStation presents Bad Blood in your house. Nope, it's not that song.
No.
We got like some weird, generic metal.
Yeah, I want to just throw some Taylor Swift in there instead.
Hard rock. Yeah.
Man,
we got bad blood.
My God.
Vince McMahon welcomes everyone to the show, joined by Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. And they preview the matches, but also Vince informs everyone about Brian Pillman's death, saying they have little info and will give updates as they get them.
You don't have to give updates. All you have to say is, ladies and gentlemen, we're sad to announce the death of one Brian Pillman. Our, thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or they need to absolve themselves of any cause in his death, so they keep giving updates.
Yeah.
But we go to our first match. Nation of Domination of Rocky Maivia, D'Lo Brown, and Mustafa versus the Legion of Doom of Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal in a handicap match.
As one Ken Shamrock, who's on the injury list.
That's right. He was supposed to be in the Road Warriors corner. Still out. Ross doesn't tell us the rest of the story because they actually had pivoted to Ahmed being on the Road Warriors team.
And what did he do?
But he had sliced his hand open.
Yeah.
And so he's having surgery and is out again.
Damn, he must have sliced his hand open good if he needed surgery.
I told you. When he came back out after Raw, he had like a baseball taped to his hand.
Yeah.
Hawk grabs the mic as they enter to call their opponents the Nation of Abomination, saying Shamrock spitting up blood. That's real cute.
Maybe my favorite line reading of his ever.
But if you think they're going to back down from the three of them, they're deadly wrong. Let's get it on. And Brown gets sent to the floor with hip tosses and drop kicks by Hawk to start, only for the Road Warrior to give chase, allowing D'Lo to kick him as he re-enters the ring. But Hawk responds with a big boot and a clothesline that sends Brown scurrying to tag out to Maivia.
I know, right when he tags out, he's like, damn, I'm getting my ass kicked. And he tags out.
The crowd lets Rocky know what they think of him.
He stinks.
As Animal also tags in for the two to trade strikes that sends Maivia out to regroup and jaw with fans.
I wonder if he says words this time.
No, just jaw.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Jaw.
The Legion of Doom stays on the attack with strikes, but Rocky is able to make it to his corner to tag out to Kama, who charges into a corner, only for Hawk to avoid to clothesline Mustafa down. And they both run the ropes and go for clotheslines at the same time for a double KO. But both men immediately are back to their feet for Kama to be taken down by an enziguri, followed by a power slam from Animal. Rocky runs in, ducking a clothesline and turning to nail a DDT on Animal, allowing the Nation to take control. Mustafa with a hook kick and throws the Road Warrior to the floor, where the other Nation of Domination members clubber him down.
I always forget how big Kama is, even though I've seen him in every form. It's just like, oh yeah, he is a mountain of a man.
Back in the ring, D'Lo with several clotheslines and leg drops whips Animal to a corner, only for him to bounce out with a clothesline. But the Nation keeps him from being able to tag. And quick tags and triple teams from the Nation, wearing him down with holds, knees to the gut, turnbuckle smashes, chokes and low blows for 2 counts. But Kama returns only to miss a corner charge, allowing the Road Warrior to make the crawl for the ref doesn't see it as he's getting the Nation back to their corner.
Damn it.
I mean, the crowd's big and they're pretty hot, so it's a good tease. Good-ish tease.
Now while the ref is getting Hawk to his corner, The Nation of Domination holds Animal down for Brown to fly off the top with a lowdown for a near fall. Mustafa tosses the Road Warrior to the floor, where he's thrown into the ring steps before being rolled back in, where Rocky and Animal both hit clotheslines for a double KO, only for the Road Warrior to crawl its way to the corner, this time for the hot tag. Hawk takes Maivia down with right hands and a power slam, making the cover, only for D'Lo to jump in with an elbow drop. But the Road Warrior moves in time, causing Rocky to take the blow. Hawk then delivers a neck breaker to Brown before Animal joins the fray, where they both clothesline Kama and D'Lo to the floor, allowing them to get Maivia up for the Doomsday device. Faarooq would make his way down to the ring to distract the Legion, so Mustafa is able to make his way back in to kick Hawk towards Rocky to nail it. Uranagi for the pin and the win.
Rock bottom finish. Pretty well done. Maivia is getting better and and leaning into the heel as he's pushed as an already hated man.
Yep.
And D'Lo looks great. He's just such a fun and energetic performer.
Agreed.
Vincent sends it to the Superstar line room, where Sonny and Doc Hendricks are. Doc tells fans to join them for post-match interviews with the winners and losers as they wait for the Nation and the Legion of Doom. Sonny then invites Hendricks out for drinks, with him responding, "As long as you remember me and they forget me, it's all right with me."
Okay.
I don't know if he even knew what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Back to McMahon at the booth, where he offers his condolences to the Pillman family, saying we were supposed to get Bryan versus Dude Love next, so they had to scramble to find a replacement. So, here's what was supposed to happen. Goldust was going to be handcuffed to the ring post during that match, and if Foley had won, which he was supposed to, the Golden One would then face Pillman in a no DQ match, where Marlena would have helped Bryan win the match on purpose, turning on her husband.
Damn.
Cold.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. But yeah, they say, but Pillman was... They go out of the way to say he was found dead in his hotel room this afternoon. It's like, you just have to say that he passed away. It's like, yeah, they'll protest too much.
So we go to our second match. Mosaic and Tarantula versus Max Mini and Nova.
Max Mini gets a pop. They like Max Mini.
I mean, he kind of stole the show last pay-per-view.
I mean, he's a performer for sure.
Yep.
And the last time we saw Nova and Mosaic, they were teaming up as Masquerado Sagrada and Octagoncito at AAA When Worlds Collide.
There's a little
Episode
Octagon.
134.
Nova and Mosaic are definitely easier to say.
Yeah, Octagoncito. It's like, yeah, he's just a little Octagon.
Little Octagon.
And Tarantula nails a big boot to Max, so Nova charges at him, only to be backdropped into a dropkick of Mosaic, followed by Tarantula knocking Nova backwards to Mosaic, who holds him, but Nova then moves on Tarantula's clothesline attempt, causing Mosaic to take the blow.
It does feel, I mean, obviously, it's a last-minute booking, but out of place. Even though we've had mini-matches recently, things have changed a little bit since then, too. So it just feels like a mashing of two eras.
Nova answers with arm drags, leg sweeps to make a cover, only for Mosaic to run in with a senton that Nova avoids. Tarantula then misses a corner splash, followed by Mosaic charging in to attack Nova from behind. But again, he moves in time, causing Tarantula to take his partner's running chop. More arm drags and leg sweeps that sends Tarantula into a drop kick of Mosaic, before sending him to the floor, where he trips up Nova and drags him outside for everybody to brawl. Now back in the ring, Mosaic misses a corner splash, allowing Max to retake control with arm drags, drop kicks, and back body drops, before Nova flies off the top with a splash, followed by being backdropped again by Tarantula onto Mosaic for a sloppy victory roll for a 2 count. Tarantula then catches Max with a pop-up powerbomb, only for it to be reversed into a hurricanrana for a near fall. Double big boot from Mosaic and Tarantula to Max to slow the momentum, followed by another big boot that sends Max to his corner to tag out.
Little boot.
Only for Mosaic to chop block Nova from behind to slow him down. Tarantula with a body slam and a top rope splash for a 2 count, before double teaming Nova, who rolls out and walks over to his corner to tag Max in. I'm like, I saw this, I was just like, why don't more teams just do this? Like, you can't get across the ring, just roll out and then walk around.
There's different rules for little people.
More double teams to work over Max when Tarantula would press slam him onto the announce table, which Lawler loves. And Nova takes his place in the ring where he and Mosaic trade strikes until Nova avoids his charge to deliver an arm drag and a springboard dropkick to send Mosaic to the floor. And Max looks like he's going to leap out onto his opponent, but instead heads into the ring where Tarantula hits a big boot and a clothesline. And Tarantula then sends Max to a corner, following in, only for Max to avoid, nailing a top rope crossbody, before an arm drag and a crucifix cradle for the pin. And the win.
I mean, the crowd was having a great time. This was a spectacle for sure. It feels like, it's like, oh, they've probably done this thing like
a few dozen times on the house show circuit.
Oh, yeah, they've done this a lot. And, yeah, this isn't a match you throw together probably out of nowhere. They might have strung some of the high spots together from matches or whatever, but
Vince then introduces the Spanish and French announce teams, and as this happens, Nova and Max drop kick their opponents out of the ring before McMahon sends us to a commercial for Stone Cold's new t-shirt, and then gives us the attendance number, thinking it's a record, but he's not quite sure.
21,151?
Something like that.
Yep.
Sonny then runs out to the ring
I know
to be
you
a
want
guest ring announcer for our next match. Our third one, in fact, of the Godwinns of Henry O. and Phineas I. Godwinn with Uncle Cletus versus the Headbangers of Mosh and Thrasher for the WWF World Tag Team Championships.
I love the Godwinns now have eerie music.
Yes.
It's not...
They've gone full dark.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, I always love seeing what bands the Headbangers are going to represent. We got a typo negative shirt this time.
Nice.
R.I.P. Peter Steele.
So last time we saw Cletus was at the NWA World Heavyweight Title Tournament, episode 135, as Dirty White Boy.
Oh, it's Dirty White Boy.
Dirty White Boy.
He was also a jobber in the WWF as T.L. Hopper, but
No.
we never saw him as
I
that.
do remember that name.
Yeah. He was I think a Smoky Mountain champion and was well used there.
Yeah. JR says that it's a good thing Sonny isn't Ned Beatty because of the way the Godwinns are staring at her. You don't get the reference?
No, it's
okay.
yeah, I get it.
It's
it's just a crazy thing to say. That's all.
Sure got a pretty mouth.
Yeah, it's like that. It's just pretty foul. That's why I'm just like, Jesus, I didn't catch that one.
So both teams start off brawling until the Godwinns are sent to the floor to regroup, before Mosh and Phineas have a spitting contest inside the ring, leading to the Headbangers sending Pig to the floor with a hurricanrana, followed by Thrasher leaping off the apron with a rana as well.
And the crowd is less hot than they were for the mini-match.
Mosh continues the punishment with a springboard clothesline before heading back into the ring for a double flapjack to drop Phineas right on his head.
Sure did.
As he looks like he thought it was going to be a back body drop.
Yeah.
So he rolled through.
And it
landed on his head.
Yeah, Vince McMahon, makes note of it because he's worried because it looks bad. Because that's not a small man to land on his head.
That is something that can break someone's neck.
Yeah.
Henry tags in to trade knockdowns with Thrasher, so Pig returns when Hog can't control. Only to be double-teamed by the Headbangers with a leapfrog splash, followed by Thrasher suplexing Mosh onto Phineas. A second rope clothesline from Thrasher, but Henry runs in to clothesline him down, allowing the Godwinns to take control with stomps and crotching Thrasher onto the top rope. sending him crashing out to the floor. And the Godwinns drag him back in, only to toss Thrasher right back out to the floor, where Cletus gets a few stomps and clotheslines in as well. Now back in the ring, Pig with several knee drops, but he then telegraphs a back body drop. So Thrasher hits a sunset flip, only for the ref to be arguing with Henry on the apron, causing for a slow count of 2.
But he had that visual pin.
Hog with a body slam and a wheelbarrow slam for an air fall, before tossing Thrasher to the ropes, only for the 2 competitors to knock noggins for a double KO. Phineas then prevents the Headbangers from tagging, but misses a corner splash. So Thrasher with a desperation back suplex, allowing him to make the crawl for the hot tag. Mosh cleans house with right hands, stomps, and corner splashes, even knocking Cletus off the apron, when Thrasher would rejoin the fray to powerbomb Mosh onto Pig for the pin, and no, Henry breaks it up. Mosh then flies off the top with a seated senton, only for Phineas to catch and drop the headbanger with a powerbomb for the pin and the win. And no!
You know what happens after this? Everybody chants for LOD.
Post-match, the Godwinns celebrate by continuing the beatdown of the Headbangers, as Cletus nails Mosh with the horseshoe, followed by Hog delivering a slop drop, until officials order them to leave, or they will be stripped of the titles. Henry then threatens Fink for making the winner's announcement, with Ross telling them to go take a shower and drink some moonshine.
The horseshoe, pretty brutal weapon for professional wrestling. That'd be an awful thing to get hit with.
Yes.
McMahon then sends it to a video package about Austin's past month. We see highlights of Stone Cold stunning JR, Slaughter, Lawler, and Vince, as narration says Austin is a rattlesnake by definition. JR thought McMahon would fire Stone Cold, but he gave him 3 options instead. Get a doctor's note, absolve the WWF of liability, or termination. And backstage, Michael Cole says that decision will come tomorrow on Raw. And while Austin won't talk to him, Owen Hart will. And Owen says he's tired of hearing about Stone Cold, as he won't do anything but hand the Intercontinental title back to Hart. Also reminding officials they better keep Austin off of him, or there will be a lawsuit. Owen then asks if Cole can even spell or say lawsuit, which Michael proves he can, looking very proud of himself. Followed by Hart saying he'll do his job if the officials do theirs. And we go to the ring, where Jim Ross introduces St. Louis wrestling legends for a special presentation, and bringing out such people as Gene Kavitsky, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Terry Funk, Lou Thez, and Sam Mushnick.
Yep, everybody gets their own little, very well done package. It's very sweet.
Yeah, basically talking about their accomplishments in the world of wrestling. They get a little plaque that looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to rewind it after it started because it was like, are they actually being put in the Hall of Fame, or is this just something different? Because I couldn't tell for sure.
They're just in St. Louis.
They're in St. Louis.
And they're honoring St. Louis.
No, I figured that out after,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was one of those because back then there wasn't really a set day for the Hall of Fame. It just kind of happened randomly, it seemed. I think it started at Survivor Series or something like that. And yeah, so I
intermittently.
Yeah, I had to backtrack just to see, but either way, cool.
Once again, WWF recognizing history, and this time not even their own.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane. From what I've read, basically Ross and Jim Cornette basically pushed for this.
Well, that's cool of them, because they're people who actually care about the history of wrestling.
Yeah. And Vince actually listened to him, and this was planned before the
Oh,
before
Brian?
the Pillman thing.
Yeah, I assume so because of the packages were so nice of like the
and plus they were
the video
there.
package. And they were there. They don't all live in St. Louis.
Yeah. We then go to the back. Doc Hendricks and the Nation of Domination are there. And they say he doesn't mean to disrespect Faarooq's athletic abilities, but he believes he has a trump card in Stone Cold. And the militant doesn't know what Hendricks means. That Austin couldn't hold a candle to where he came from. That he's going to kick Owen's ass and Stone Cold means nothing to. And Doc tries to apologize, but the Nation just leaves the room while we head back to the commentator's booth, where Vince gives another Pillman update, saying the authorities do not believe foul play was involved, but it may have been a drug overdose.
Prescription or recreational? It's like, come on, dog.
He continues that this is a problem in all professional sports and entertainment, but they won't get the toxicology report for a few days. But as I mentioned last week, it was found that Brian actually had a defect in his heart that would cause him to have heart failure, and that was the reason for his passing.
Yeah.
There might have been drugs, but it wasn't enough to
kill him.
To kill him.
We all know he'd kind of been a little over medicating as far as, most wrestlers do, because he's been working through an injury that he didn't quite divulge all of to.
Yeah, he's still suffering from that car accident.
Yeah, didn't quite let it heal, and it just kept getting worse.
We then go to our fourth match, Faarooq versus Owen Hart, in the finals of the WWF Intercontinental title tournament.
This time Owen has 2 slammies and a Canadian flag.
And Austin actually makes his way out to the ring with his belt, flipping off Owen before taking a seat at the timekeeper's table, with Sergeant Slaughter next to him. He then even rings the bell to get the match to start, followed by taking Vince's headset to do some commentary.
Oh, and Austin this is a buffet for him.
Yes.
Hart shows off his new t-shirt to Stone Cold. It says Owen 316.
Pretty great shirt.
I just broke your neck.
Pretty great shirt.
But the two competitors then shove each other to start, until the militant knocks Owen down with shoulder blocks and throwing him around the ring. Hart responds with a spinning heel kick and starts to work the leg of Faarooq, using grapevines, leg bars, and strikes to the knee, as Austin does some Spanish commentary now, before also joining the French commentators momentarily.
Yeah, I liked him interacting with Tito.
Yes.
The militant kicks Owen off shoulder first into a ring post, allowing him to change the momentum, whipping Hart back and forth, followed by a shoulder breaker for a 2 count. Faarooq lifts Owen, but his leg gives way, causing Hart to land on top for a near fall, before the militant fires back with a body slam and a second rope leg drop, which Hart avoids and goes back to the leg, attempting to lock on the sharpshooter. Faarooq blocks and he kicks away Owen, but after a reversed whip, the militant delivers a power slam and a spine buster for a 2 count, when all of a sudden, Jim Neidhart would come out. The Anvil jumps on the apron while Faarooq is choking Hart on the ropes, giving Stone Cold the chance to clock the militant over the head with the championship, allowing Owen to make the cover for the pin and the win. And new! Post-match, Hart celebrates, but he's confused as Neidhart congratulates him, while Faarooq complains.
I love Stone Cold just tosses the belt in the ring. Also, why is everybody confused? Stone Cold wants to beat Owen for the belt, which he should have an opportunity for once he's healthy. And they're like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? It's like, guys, we know why he would do it.
It makes sense to us, yeah.
Yeah.
As they're leaving, Owen looks to the camera and says, I did it all by myself.
Yep. I mean,
It's a great line.
He's wonderful.
Vincent sends it to a video of last week's Raw, where the Hart Foundation's beating down the Patriot and Vader, putting both men in ring post figure 4s and draping the Canadian flags over their opponents. And JR's yelling they've insulted their American pride, before coming back to the commentator's booth, where McMahon and Ross discuss the change to the rules of the match, saying that they have added pin and submission to also capturing the flag of their opponent as ways of winning.
I wonder why.
JR then tells us that the Mastodon is injured and the Masked American is dealing with the flu. So the King chimes in that they're just giving them excuses for why they can't win.
Yeah, I like to think that it's like, well, who's going to get up there? It's not Bret, because, like, Vader's not getting up there for the flag. Bulldog is pretty large himself as well as the Patriot. It's like, well, yeah. But we'll see. See if someone gets that flag. Not quite yet, though.
We go to our fifth match. Los Boricuas of Savio, Vega, Jesus Castillo, Jose Estrada, and Miguel Perez versus the Disciples of Apocalypse of 8-Ball, Chainz, Crush, and Skull in an 8-man tag match. And this was another match that was added after the tragic loss of Pillman. As Vince says, they're still scrambling to give us the best that they can. Crush is part of the best that they can give us.
Yeah, I mean, we're in an era right now where they're making stars and, like, holding strong, like, keeping up with angles, not really abandoning them, seeing them through. But here, I mean, this is just one of them.
Crush with his...
I don't know that this one's going to make any stars.
Cool face tattoo.
Yeah.
Jose and Skull started off by trading strikes. The Disciples gained control with the back elbow, clothesline, followed by 8-Ball joining for a double big boot. Miguel tags in, but 8-Ball keeps up the attack with another clothesline and a power slam. Crush and Savio both enter, with Vega running into a boot, allowing the Disciples to nail a belly-to-belly suplex. Chainz with another big boot to Savio, but a rake of the eyes gets Vega to his corner to bring in Jesus, who immediately gets press slammed.
I feel like boots and fists. This is the match for you.
Castillo reverses a whip to send Chainz to his team's corner, where the Disciple is quadruple teamed, being yanked out of the ring and being stomped on. And the ref is forced to get in between the two gangs on the floor to get the match back in the ring, where the Boricuas take turns delivering corner clotheslines to Chainz, followed by a corner wheel kick from Savio. Los Boricuas with chin locks, a roundhouse kick from Vega, and a missile drop kick from Jesus for a 2 count. Before returning to wearing down the Disciple until Chainz avoids a corner splash from Savio, allowing him to make the crawl for the hot tag. Crush cleans house with clotheslines, right hands, and a big boot, when everybody would jump in the ring to brawl, which leads to the ref missing a pin attempt. Crush then starts to argue with Mike Chioda, while Castillo sneaks in from behind to deliver a DDT for a near fall. Crush then reverses a whip to send Jesus to the ropes, where Chainz nails him from the apron, knocking him right into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for the pin and the win.
I think this was a decent, like, big boy match, but it's like, well, just nobody cares about these guys at all.
Considering they had to throw this together probably at the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
Thought this was a very good match.
Yeah, like, I think it was good. It was just one of those things where it's like, I just can't be compelled to give a shit about either teams. But in ring, like,
You know why it was so good? Because a certain person had very little to do with this match. He got to be there to argue with the ref and
quit hating on Jose Estrada, man.
We know who Shane's talking about. His hate for him I find funny.
I also have to point out that I know we've seen them before, but 8-Ball and Skull, who knew that shaving your fucking head would completely change everything about you? Because they look nothing like they did as the Bruise Brothers or the Blue Brothers or any of them back in the day. They've just totally morphed into totally different people with all their hair missing.
Because they're Chainz and Skull now. They are different people.
But looks-wise,
they anamorphed
they
into
went
bikers.
from being long-haired boys to just like ass-kicking dudes.
Yep.
Who'd have thunk it?
Michael Cole is then in the back with Bret Hart and British Bulldog. And Cole says their opponents have the home field advantage, but the Hitman tells him that he's dreaming. Just like all Americans, because that's what they are, dreamers. Tonight they will make an example of their opponents, whether fans like it or not, followed by just walking off. Davey Boy tries to finish up by saying the Canadian flag will fly tonight. They will win right here in St. Louis. Right here.
He's never been the greatest promo.
Nope.
So we go to our sixth match. Bret, Hitman Hart, and British Bulldog versus the Patriot and Vader in a flag match. And officials have attached tall poles on which the flags hang from.
It's a pole with a pole jutting out of it.
And so I immediately understood why they changed the rules of this match, because these poles go way too high up in the air. So literally no one is going to be able to grab these flags.
Yeah, like I was saying, Bret's probably the only one that could get it potentially, because the other three men are giants.
And as the Canadians make their way to the ring, we head to the back for an interview with the Americans. Doc Hendricks says the pressure is on because of the home field advantage. But the masked American promises to settle this thing once and for all, giving the Mastodon his word he'll do whatever it takes. Vader then quotes Bret's catchphrase and calls it bullshit, before saying he doesn't have much in common with the Patriot, but they both don't like big-mouth Canadians. So tonight, they play the pain game. It's Vader time!
Finally.
Love me some Vader time.
A brawl erupts before everyone even gets in the ring, with the masked American using the American flag before throwing Davey Boy into the ring steps.
USA.
While the Mastodon uses the Canadian flag, slamming Hart headfirst into the announce table. And the Hitman reverses a whip to send Vader into some ring steps, while Bulldog is now using the American flag over the back of the Patriot. The four men continue to brawl around the ringside and down the aisleway, choking with the flags, stiff shots, when the ref finally somehow gets order restored to ring the bell. And as Canadians make their way into the ring, the masked American goes for the flag, only for Davey Boy to yank him off the turnbuckle, but the Patriot responds with a shoulder block and a snap suplex, before trying to climb again when Bret would knock him down with a low blow. Hip toss and back body drop from the masked American, followed by Vader entering the ring to nail an avalanche attack on Bulldog. And the Mastodon keeps up the attack with a clothesline that sends Davey Boy to his corner to tag in the Hitman, only to receive stiff shots and a sharp arm clothesline in the corner.
Crowd's pretty hot.
Hart avoids a corner charge from Vader, followed by Bulldog hitting a clothesline from the apron, before Bret delivers a side Russian leg sweep and goes for the flag, only for the Mastodon to knock him down with a low blow. Vader telegraphs a back body drop, so the Hitman goes for a sunset flip, but the Mastodon butt splashes onto Hart for a 2 count. Patriot nails a drop kick to Davey Boy after they both tag in, continues with multiple turnbuckle smashes and a body slam, before attempting to climb for the flag once again. But Bret hits another low blow to slow him down.
This is more of a low blow match, a sack match, than a flag match.
The Foundation used ref distractions and tropes to control the match, followed by the Hitman applying a ring post figure 4 on the masked American, until Vader makes his way over to stop it. Hart continues with elbow drops and headbutts to the gut, before locking on the sharpshooter to the Patriot in the middle of the ring, all while the Mastodon and Bulldog brawl in a corner, only for the masked American to reverse into a sharpshooter of his own.
What?
Until Davey Boy breaks it up.
Can't believe that.
The Foundation's trying to slow down Vader when the Patriot just climbs over all of them to go for the flag, when Bulldog realizes and just yanks him down to the middle of the ring. We get a backbreaker elbow drop combo from the Foundation for a near fall, but the masked American crawls his way to the corner for the tag. The Mastodon with an avalanche attack, back suplex, and a splash for a 2 count, followed by going for the flag when Davey Boy looks to pull him down. But the Patriot intervenes momentarily, only for the Hitman to then knock him down with shots to the back. Hart with a backbreaker turns Vader over into a sharpshooter when the masked American jumps in the ring to hammer away on Bret, even as the Mastodon has made the ropes. Vader's back to his feet to drop elbows to the midsection before applying a sharpshooter of his own, only for Bulldog to break it up. And Patriot runs in to deliver a shoulder tackle, knocks Davey Boy off the apron, followed by locking on a figure four. But Hart is able to reach out to tag his brother-in-law, who stomps away on the masked American to force a break. Bulldog hits a stalling suplex for a near fall. Patriot answers with a power slam for a 2 count. Tries to climb the turnbuckle, only to again be knocked down. And Bret's working over the masked American with boots, snap suplex, elbow and leg drops, before climbing for the flag. The Mastodon rumbles his way into the ring to bear hug the Hitman back to the middle of the ring, while Davey Boy clotheslines the Patriot down. And both men tag out, where Vader slams Bulldog and heads up top for a moonsault, only for Davey Boy to move, so the Mastodon almost lands on his feet to punish his opponent with stiff shots.
I mean, pretty impressive to even almost land on your feet. Oh, yeah. He takes one knee. He did the Spider-Man pose.
He turned midair. We kept saying that.
Vader goes for the flag, but the Hitman grabs his foot to stop him, while the masked American works over Bulldog some more behind the ref's back. And the ref gets everyone corralled when Davey Boy's clotheslined out to the floor, with Vader giving chase, only for Hart and the masked American to join them for everybody to be brawling around ringside. Bret grabs the ring bell and smashes it across the head of the Mastodon.
Oh, what a good sound.
Followed by Bulldog running him into the ring post.
Posted.
Now back in the ring, the Hitman works over Vader with a body slam, elbow drops, and a DDT for an air fall. When Davey Boy would return for a double team, only for the Mastodon to just run through the foundation with a double clothesline, before making his way to the corner to bring in the Patriot, who nails big boots, back elbows, and an ungle slam on Hart, making the cover.
Makes me laugh every time.
But Bulldog breaks it up. And all of a sudden, a fan jumps in the ring.
Oh my gosh.
So the ref and Davey Boy take care of him, while Bret and the masked American bump heads for a double KO. When the Hitman would fall right into his opponent's corner, allowing the Mastodon to nail a Vader bomb. And Bulldog comes out to brawl with the Mastodon, while the Patriot goes for an O'Connor roll, only for Hart to reverse with a handful of tights for the pin and the win. Post-match, the masked American attacks Bret, stomping and ramming him into a corner, so the Hitman rolls out to escape with his partner, while fans throw trash and wave a flag in Hart's face.
I mean, pretty, the crowd kept, this wasn't bad by any means, but the crowd really kept it alive.
Yes.
For sure.
I thought it was very, very sloppy, considering who was in the match.
Yeah.
But also, you have to consider what news they just got a couple hours before.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be tough.
Yeah. Sad news. This will be the last time we see the Patriot, as he tears a tricep soon after and retires from wrestling.
Okay. Well, he went out with a solid little run.
R.I.P.
Had a nice little feud with Bret Hart. It's cool.
It's claim to fame.
Nothing to be mad about.
Except for that little tag team that he had with Buff a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Vincent sends it to a commercial for Survivor Series, where we get black and white footage of the various factions in the WWF, with the narrator saying, "It's not about senseless aggression. It's not a search for identity or the need to belong. For these men, it's a matter of survival." Milton Bradley, Karate Fighters, presents Survivor Series.
Gang rules.
Gang rules.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't forget to send in your cable bill to get free dog tags.
Yep, first 3,000 orders get free dog tags. WWF dog tags.
Huh.
See, that means what if they sent you a Crush one, then you have to name your dog Crush.
Fuck that.
We go back to our commentators who explain the Hell in a Cell, saying there's nowhere to run, They will lock the door, and there is no escape.
Yep, it's because the WWF cage match has been crawl out of the cage for quite a while. Now we're going to, more traditional style cage match. It's got to end in the cage, but the cage is surrounding the entire ring instead of being flush with the end of the ring, the apron.
McMahon then sends it to the back, but he's not sure who's with the Heartbreak Kid. But it's Doc, who says it's all on the line in the moment. Only one man will walk out of the cell. And Shawn replies there's good news and bad news. The good news is that his coveted European title isn't on the line. The bad news is the locking in the cell alone. That his athletic prowess and the fact that he's the man and the showstopper will get him through this. Plus, he's the only one crazy enough to do this gig.
Yep.
Michaels then promises to show why he's the number one guy in the business today. Before Hunter attempts to speak, only for it to cut away into another video package, where we get highlights of the Heartbreak Kid as Shawn basks in the bright lights of superstardom. Image isn't everything. It's the only thing. Michaels likes to stir the pot and ruffle feathers, and given the choice, he won't do the right thing, as we see clips of the Heartbreak Kid attacking Taker with a chair. Now Shawn stands in a different light, casting a harsh glare on Michaels' once cherished image, as he accuses everyone of dumping the events of SummerSlam in his lap. The HBK doesn't give a damn what anyone thinks of him. Shawn's actions speak louder than his words, calling out the dead man multiple times, with the ultimatum being answered in a horrific fashion. Back to ringside, Slaughter and Earl Hebner are checking under the ring for anyone hiding before calling for the cage to be lowered.
Look at them showing some smarts.
Yeah, I thought it was telegraphing a thing, but I remembered something that might happen a little differently than how it does happen. So I was like, oh, you're telegraphing it. Boy, what did I look stupid.
Yep. Look over here while we distract you. See this other thing over here.
Yeah.
So we go to our seventh match. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Chyna, and Rick Rude, versus The Undertaker to be the number one contender for the WWF Championship in a Hell in a Cell match.
The first ever.
And as the cell lowers into place, Michaels' entourage exits the area before Sarge just makes them completely leave to the back, leaving Shawn all alone.
Oh no.
He's just a boy.
And Taker makes his way to the ring.
A sexy boy.
He raises the lights, causing the Heartbreak Kid to freak out, asking Hebner to not lock the door as he realized he might have just made a terrible mistake.
I mean, good heel work. Be a little chicken shit.
Yep.
And the dead man begins stalking after Michaels around ringside. They roll in the ring with Shawn running the ropes, only for Undertaker to hit a big boot and several turnbuckle smashes. The HBK fires back with jabs and mounted punches. But Taker would reverse a whip to get a flare flip from Michaels, followed by a clothesline for a 2 count. And the dead man works the arm before nailing old school, a body slam and a leg drop for a near fall, followed by a back body drop that sends Michaels so high his feet scrape the ceiling. Shawn is then thrown over the top rope to the floor, with Undertaker giving chase to double choke lift HBK until a thumb to the eye allows him to escape and attempt to climb the wall, but Taker just yanks him off. And the dead man whips Michaels into the cage multiple times, with Shawn bouncing off every time right into a clothesline, before going for a powerbomb, only for the Heartbreak Kid to escape by punching away. The Undertaker recovers by smashing him back first into the wall several times.
Yeah, Shawn's doing a great job of working from underneath, like taking his shots when he can, but, the Undertaker, not only is he already dead, he's very angry.
He's very large.
Yeah, that too.
Taker keeps up the attack by ramming Michaels back and forth between the cage and the ring post, followed by trying to lawn dart Shawn, only for HBK to escape out the back, shoving the dead man into the wall. The Undertaker no-sells and responds with a clothesline, tossing Michaels into the steel steps and choking him. Shawn's then sent into the cage again with Taker charging after, only for the Heartbreak Kid to avoid and begins to fire up with right hands. Michaels rolls in to regroup momentarily, attacking again once the dead man's on the apron, only for the Undertaker to hit a hot shot across the ropes. Taker again makes it to the apron when Shawn charges at him to send the dead man flying into the cage, followed by a tope suicida, leaping off the wall with an elbow drop.
Hell yeah.
Michael then flies off the apron with a clothesline, picks up the ring steps, and smashes Undertaker over the back multiple times, before nailing a piledriver on the steel as well.
I mean, my gosh. Undertaker had to have trusted the hell out of Shawn to be like, oh yeah, we can do that spot, because Shawn's strong, fit guy, but Undertaker's really big, and it's a pile driver on the steel steps.
With somebody that's like 8 or 9 inches taller than you are.
Yeah. They don't weigh 125 pounds like Jerry Lawler said, but they are made out of steel.
The Heartbreak Kid starts shoving and yelling at a cameraman to get out of the way, before hitting a top rope double axe handle. And Taker makes his way back in the ring, so Shawn grabs a chair to whack across the back of the dead man several times, making a cover for a 2 count.
That damn chair.
The two start trading strikes until Michaels ties up Undertaker in the ropes so he can continue to attack, only for Taker to get a big boot up, followed by back body dropping HBK over the ropes onto the same cameraman, so Shawn begins attacking him.
He throws a
out
fit.
of frustration.
It's pretty funny and surprising. I thought I had, it's like, they looked under the ring for people associated with Shawn Michaels. They left chairs under there and like screwdrivers and shit, all the like ring tools and whatnot.
Well, I mean, Jared was talking about that at one point.
I know.
They've got extra ropes under there and stuff.
Yeah, I know. I know what they have under there, but yeah. But I guess they were more worried about it not being a fair fight as far as humans go, not as far as foreign objects go. Because there's plenty under there.
Back in the ring, HBK tosses the dead man out of the ring before returning to the cameraman to drag him to the door of the cage, where other production members are yelling to get help. A leaping forearm and a top rope elbow drop from Michaels inside the ring, while Slaughter arrives to help the injured cameraman out of the cage. And Shawn tunes up the band, delivering sweet chin music. The Undertaker immediately rises, so the Heartbreak Kid takes off running and out the open door.
I mean, it is a pretty fun and funny angle to get them outside of the cage. But, yeah, it's like, oh, well, I know why. As soon as they drag him towards the door, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what we're doing here. Not mad about it. A little amusing.
Taker follows out, only to be drop-kicked into the wall. But when Michaels tries for another, the dead man catches and catapults Shawn right into the cage, which busts him open. So Undertaker continues by ramming the cut into the wall several times.
Yeah, I love that you can see. I was like, oh, I gotta rewind because I always want to see if I can catch the blade. Throws him in there. Shawn goes down for a second, does a hell of a good blade job, and then, when Taker rams him in there, it's like, all right, just enough time for for the juice to start flowing.
He does it midair.
Does he?
Yeah.
I saw him down on the ground like this, but I guess he was getting it out of his wrist. And that's what he was hiding.
Shawn is known for doing it midair.
That's crazy. Because I rewound and he was down on his face with his arm above his head or whatever, and I thought, but that must have been him getting the blade ready.
I mean, probably he was getting it ready.
Yeah, getting it ready, but that's not where he cut himself. Damn, that's cool. And fucking wild, and makes sense considering how much juice he's about to get.
The Heartbreak Kid then starts to climb the cage to put some distance between him and his opponent, only for Taker to give chase, with Michaels grabbing him as they reach the top of the cage for a pile driver. But the dead man reverses into a back body drop onto the roof.
Oof.
Undertaker continues the punishment by raking Shawn's face into the cage, with blood dripping down onto a cameraman inside the ring, causing that guy to yell, "Oh, shit!"
Yeah, that's gross.
As he gets drenched before delivering a press slam. HBK again tries to escape the attack by climbing down the cell, only for Taker to stomp on his hands, causing Michaels to fall right off into the Spanish announce table.
He's broken him in half.
Ay, Dios mío.
The dead man then joins him on the floor to throw Shawn onto the French announce table, followed by another press slam onto the floor. And they make their way back into the ring, so Slaughter locks the door once more, where Undertaker hits a clothesline and places the Heartbreak Kid on the top turnbuckle for a super choke slam. Taker then grabs a chair from under the ring,
Payback.
clobbering Michaels over the head. When the lights go out and organ music begins to play,
Bum, bum, bum.
Paul Bearer emerges from the back with a large masked man.
There's Paul Bearer.
Fire erupting behind them as Vince yells, "That's gotta be Kane!" Our masked man rips the door off its hinges, throws the ref into the wall before stepping over the ropes and confronting the dead man, raising and lowering his arms to send fire shooting out of the ring posts.
I'm glad they changed it years later to where they added like a bass or a boom or something like that when the fire shoots out, because
Oh, yeah.
those are very quiet as the fire started to...
Yeah, what another funny thing was that, like, you can see the apparatus there throughout the whole match or whatever, but the one of them doesn't go off, but this is the first time that they've done it, and the fire is, like, so bright and so big. They're like, okay, we need to tweak it down a little bit. Yeah, but it's crazy bright.
The masked man lifts Undertaker to nail a tombstone, followed by leaving the ring, leaving Shawn to crawl out of a pool of his own blood to drape an arm over Taker, while Hebner makes a slow 3 count for the pin and the win. Post-match, Hunter, Chyna, and Rick Rude arrive to help the Heartbreak Kid out of the ring, as he is a bloody mess and has no clue where he is, dragging him down the aisle. JR says Michaels defeated the dead man, with McMahon correcting him that Kane beat The Undertaker. Only for Ross to say it doesn't matter, because Shawn is headed to Survivor Series. Before Vince says his goodbyes, and we fade to black.
Bum, bum, bum. I mean, the Kane look. He's just such it's been so long since I've seen him.
Yeah.
And it's like no one could have come up with a better look for The Undertaker's brother. It's like there's no better look that he could have had. The mask is perfect. The one arm exposed. It's just so simple but so great.
Got a fun fact for you.
Okay.
This is the last pay-per-view that Vince would be on commentary for.
Not mad at it. I don't hate Vince on commentary, but he's got 2 people that can do it together better than he can do it with anybody else.
Yep.
So it's time to step away, because these guys got it now.
Yep.
Although, I do love the sign-off between the 3 of them where they all make a solid point about the end of the show. And JR, it's like...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
taking over commentary now.
Yeah.
Get the fuck off my suit. Nerd, off my suit. Out of my booth.
Yeah, it's like good points, but it doesn't matter.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Bad Blood in your house? And can I go first?
Absolutely.
Do it.
So, with a dark cloud hanging over the show, I understand why most of the matches do not live up to their expectations. I mean, we have 2 matches that are just completely thrown on to the show that weren't supposed to be there. We have the Bret and Bulldog and Owen literally learning about their brother.
Yeah.
Having passed away 2 hours previous. So, literally, there's only 1 match on this entire show
It delivers.
that delivers.
And boy, does it.
But goddamn, that main event kicks ass.
Yeah. It's great. Sean just being the perfect guy to get ragdolled by The Undertaker. Just does a great job.
Yeah.
It's he really is great at working from underneath. It's not a thing that everybody does that well. And pretty crazy for him to, he's like, well, at least I'm getting the win, so I guess I'll do it. And boy, did he fucking do it.
We don't need to say it, but we're going to say it. It's definitely a shortlist match.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Y'all's thoughts?
Kind of along the same lines there. I mean, there were some surprises on here from people that I wasn't expecting to enjoy the matches of. And then, like you had said, the surprises of those, or the ones that did live up to the hype or what they should have been. But, considering the situation.
Even considering the situation, just the matches on paper are not that enticing with the exception of the main event, especially compared to the Raw we watched last week. It's just these matches on paper don't... It's still a one-match show, kind of, regardless, where it's this is why you buy the pay-per-view. It's you might have fun with the other stuff, but it's not very enticing outside of this Hell in a Cell match. To be honest, it didn't have to be, because after this Hell in a Cell match...
you're not even thinking about the rest of the show.
Yeah.
All you're thinking is, what
the fuck just
what
happened?
did I just watch, and this is so awesome.
Yeah, and then fucking Kane, who's been, whispered about for so long, and then he comes out and he looks like that.
And he has a badass entrance where he doesn't trip and fall.
And he has an incredible look. Yeah, incredible look. He does the fucking tombstone.
To every wrestling booker out there, this is how you introduce a character and making relevant.
Well, he's
from moment one.
I mean,
introduce somebody to the main event scene.
He's already a main event.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna start feuding with Undertaker.
You're in the main.
You're in the main event
for sure. I mean, Undertaker's been in the main event since week 1 of his career in the WWF.
Yeah.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
I mean, at this point, I've already almost forgotten about the show because of the main event.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you said, where it's I don't know, what did happen? And it's well, if there was anything you kind of liked, it got just completely showed up.
I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this, but I kind of enjoyed the first match with the LOD and the Nation.
I mean, Rocky's definitely growing into his heel persona.
Yeah. D'Lo showing a little more D'Lo.
I mean, D'Lo,
D'Lo was fun as well.
I loved D'Lo's energy in that match. He's just a really engaging performer in the ring.
JR's net baby line.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even catch that one, and I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but yeah, that's very funny.
The NWA thing.
I love that.
I just like that they're acknowledging history and, the legends that these men that they brought out are.
Yeah, 2 shows in a row, and we got a little history lesson here. And one thing that I noticed is that they talk about all of these men's NWA title reigns, and basically they all just won it from each other. So it's basically a generation and a half of NWA champions.
Yeah, I mean, this is
cool.
This is basically the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, it's awesome.
NWA heavy title scene. Right
yeah,
there.
basically, it's okay, well, who are you missing? Ric Flair. It's well, he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else we could squeeze in there, but
there might
these ones
be.
were just good.
Yeah, it's Dusty.
Dusty.
Yeah.
But he's over in WCW as well.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, it still wasn't that long ago.
I mean, I enjoyed Stone Cold's part in the Faarooq Owen match. His little banter on the commentary, his interaction with the Spanish and the French announcing teams.
He was having a good old time.
Yes.
And I was as well, because it was very fun.
I liked Owen's shirt.
Yep.
And after the match, when he says, "I did it all by myself."
Yep.
Which is great. I'm going to... I know you guys are going to probably think I'm crazy here.
The 8-man match?
8-man match is my second favorite match on the show.
I think that you're not... Yeah. There's not a whole lot to choose from here, and that one was so much better than I expected it to be. It was big boys doing big boy stuff, and they didn't do it in a... It wasn't like a glacier pace or anything like that.
Here's the thing.
It was well put together.
These two teams did this 8-man tag a few months ago. And they literally sat there in an 8-man tag and did chin locks.
And it sucked.
Literally, there was only one chin lock, and it made sense at the point that they did it at.
Yeah. No, this was like really, really well put together. My biggest issue with it is that I didn't care. They haven't tried to make me care. So but as far as like if you just for 8 guys having a match against each other that are that large, I'm not mad at it one bit.
I mean, I enjoyed it so much that I did the little deep dive on 8-Ball and Chainz and Skull just to... I didn't realize... I mean, I knew obviously 2 of them are twins, but that the other one is their cousin. Oh, Brian Lee or whatever. They're all part of the Harris family. So, yeah, the Harris boys turned it out for this match. I mean, also the Boricuas too, but 7 out of 8 ain't bad.
I love when Shane doesn't like a guy because he just fucking sticks to it so hard. We saw we hadn't seen Eric Watts for 6 months and Shane still shit on every chance that he got.
I try and reference him every time an STF is used.
Yeah. You missed it last week, so
yeah.
Hey, you can't. Maybe I just reminded him. Maybe he finally
the allergies. So.
Yeah.
I was holding back a sniffle or a nose blow.
How about most disappointing?
To be honest,
the constant.
The Pillman thing. But the other thing is, I don't like the angle they were going to do if Pillman wasn't dead. Obviously, I wish he was alive and the angle actually happened. But you told me what the angle was going to be, and I was like, I don't like that at all. I don't like Marlena turning on Goldust. It would have been. I mean, maybe I would have loved it when it happened or in execution, and it would have been fun. But you just telling me that, and I'm like, nah, can't do that to Goldust. I hate that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would have been a shocking and fun moment were it to happen on this show, but it didn't. I'd much rather have obviously Brian Pillman alive and well than that angle not happen. But you said that angle, and I was like, yeah, I had an emotional reaction to it. I was like, no, she can't do that. I hate that. Also, I don't like how it's kind of gross because it's like, oh, they basically said everything but the R word about him taking Marlena for 30 days.
Well, I guess they had been running segments on the TV on Raw that were basically like almost they were going as close to the line as they possibly could, like of them hooking up and whatnot. So like,
really?
it was
teased.
It was very much teased.
Okay.
Yeah, she was soon to be having that whole Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, she's still distasteful angle, but hey, we're in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Race, creed, and color is just as important to wrestling as a chin lock.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as history goes,
the constant. And I know they wanted to give updates on the situation, but
they did it wrong.
In a situation like this, less is more. All you need to tell people because you don't know the answers.
Yeah, it was really tasteless.
It's unfortunate that.
That is the biggest.
To announce the passing of Brian Pillman. He was found in his hotel room.
You don't even have to say that. Yeah, or you say Brian Pillman passed away. Like, yeah, condolences to his family. But yeah, the like drug talk and then toxicology stuff. It's like you should have stopped
And then I know I'll have
A long
more
time
least
ago.
favorite
Like I said,
moments
just
in
there's
future shows.
trying to absolve the WWF of any
Yeah.
part of what happened, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where, like, I'm not saying
Okay.
it was okay. That's not what I'm saying by
Yeah.
any means. But I understand where Vince is coming from by doing what he
Oh
did.
yeah, I do, but I wish you would have just
Oh, yeah.
had a little
Completely.
more tact to it.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, like, there's lots of things that Vince does that we're just like, why do you do this? Like,
Yeah.
just either don't do it or just stop. Because of the Pillman stuff, I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with why the Bret Hart match was as sloppy as it was. But that match was so hard to watch because it was just like, it was literally the sloppiest I've ever seen a Bret Hart match be.
Yeah.
And I know the other three guys aren't the greatest workers in the world, but there was no rhythm to the match at all.
No, there wasn't.
And I almost wonder if they actually had to add time to the match. Because
I believe it. There was like 3 nut shots.
Because it just felt like we're just doing the same thing over and over again, getting to a point where we can go, okay, now we can go home. And it felt completely out of
Yeah, they're
sorts.
like, let's run back the same like spot 3 times, but with the different people interacting, and then we'll go home. Yeah.
Literally, I think it might be my least favorite match on the show because of how disorganized it felt.
I agree.
Yeah, it was weird. Everything about that match is weird. The flag match thing in the WWF is weird. Like, that looks like some cheap ass WCW
Has there
shit.
been a flag match we've watched yet that someone's been able to actually grab the flag?
No, anything on a pole. Nobody
Because
does.
like, they always put these poles way too high up. I'm just like, guys, just tape it to the ring post, and then it's just captured. It's literally captured, which doesn't make for a good match.
No, it's a stupid thing either way.
Yeah.
But they could have also, I don't know. It was just not well conceived either way. And then on top of that, it was sloppy. But I can't imagine that this would have been great any day of the week.
No.
Even if everybody, was completely on. It wouldn't be memorable regardless. But now it's moderately memorable for being the worst Bret Hart match we've ever seen. Which is...
It's also notable for one other thing, but it's the last Bret in WWF until,
Yeah. And the last pay-per-view match from the Patriot.
No one really cares about that.
I know. I'm just putting it out there.
How about best performer of the night?
Sean.
Yeah, that has to be Sean.
No-brainer.
Like, you take those crazy bumps, you're pretty much going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, Undertaker did a great job, but Undertaker didn't have to do what Sean had to do. And Sean sold it well. And been such a great dickhead, and then to go in there and then, be a cocky asshole and then immediately turn into a chicken shit.
Cocksure tormentor.
Yeah.
To the tormented.
Yes. And then to just work from underneath, and he was still trying all the way up to the end. It's just that it's like, well, yeah, no matter how sure you are, the dead man is pissed. And you're lucky he has a not so dead, burned up brother.
Oh, I do have one for most disappointing.
Go for it.
And it's, as much as I enjoyed the Kane part of it, Kane doing the tombstone at the end looked like a dog trying to figure out where he's shooting at because he just kept turning and turning.
He didn't know where the heart
Let's go
cam
this
was.
way.
Yeah. It's like if you do it, you'll do it. They're WWF. They got cameras out there.
Come on.
But
Diesel wouldn't have done that. Isaac Yankem wouldn't even have done that.
He's wearing the mask. It's the first time. That's not. I mean, the Christmas creature wore a mask.
And how about most surprising?
To be honest, I thought Kane was coming from the bottom of the ring, but I was like, oh, yeah, that's not this match.
See, I always thought it came from underneath the ring as well.
Yeah. So I was waiting for it, and I was like watching the match, and I was like, is there going to be a spot in the ring where I can kind of see it, or they stay away from? And And
I mean, once they looked under the ring, it was kind of like, oh, well, that's not where you're coming from.
yeah, but I mean, I think that I thought they were telegraphing it by looking under the ring and then not seeing it, or there being some kind of supernatural thing about it or whatever.
That would have made Sarge look really bad at his job.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes. He's been doing a great job. It would only be strike one.
That the lower and mid card kind of helped carry the show. I mean, with the exception of the main event, but the ones that I typically are rolling my eyes or fast forwarding through the matches of were the ones that were my favorites this time around.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Macho Man Randy Savage had defeated 59 other men to become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion when he would make his way to Starrcade on December 27th, 1995, not knowing who his opponent would be. WCW had a number one contenders match between the trio of Sting, Lex Luger, and Ric Flair, which would end with the Nature Boy winning in controversial manner. So the stage was set for Savage versus Nate, where they would trade strikes, with Flair focusing on Macho's injured arm. The Nature Boy would apply a sleeper, only for Savage to break free, when Nature's manager, Jimmy Hart, would distract the ref, tossing his megaphone into the ring, only for Macho to intercept, clocking Flair to bust him open. Savage would nail the flying elbow when the rest of the Horsemen would arrive, leading to Arn Anderson delivering a brass knuckle aided left hand, allowing the Nature Boy to make the cover for the pin to become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion for the fourth time. The two competitors would continue to feud over the next month, leading to a rematch very soon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Next week, WCW Monday Night Nitro from October 6th, 1997.
What could happen here?
I'm intrigued. I'm trying to remember what's going on, but
Yeah, I don't know.
we'll find out.
Music from this week's show is Ground Shaker by Malcolm Nichols. And Shawn Michaels won our main event, so we play Sexy Boy by Jimmy Hart and J.J. Maguire.
Where's Jimmy Hart been? We were just talking about him in the Macho Man thing. I think I haven't seen
And
him in
he's
a
still
while.
with Faces of Fear?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just in the mid card,
Yeah.
so not doing as much, but that's cool. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just thinking about Jimmy.
If you like this episode or any of our others, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcast at. Do as Michael says.
5 stars. We watched a 5-star match. If you want to put stars on it, I don't know. It's a great match. Short list.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Ooh, we are headed to Minneapolis next. Yeah. If you got any ideas for food, beverage, dessert, snack, something like that from the Minnesota, Minneapolis area, let me know. Get on the Twitter and send us a message. If you've watched this show, Bad Blood, what was your match that you would recommend outside of Shawn versus Taker? I want to know. Slide into our DMs or shout us out. So talk to me.
Are you a tarantula man?
Tarantula.
you can send any of those things to our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO X. We'll talk to you next week.
Later.